So this is the winter round week 14, and it's also the final week of the winter round. I don't really know how it got to week 14. It's quite scary. So this week was wrapping everything up. It was the final week, the last mountain ranges, and really ploughing for the end. So the mountain ranges that it dealt with were really all accessed from the Ullapool Road, and it was also very much just me myself doing it with a little bit of help from Lorraine. So the first day I started at the Fannics, and I'd hoped for a good weather day to go to the Fannics, but it turned out to be quite a lot different from the forecast and a lot worse than the forecast. So I headed up onto the start of the Fannics, still tired from the previous day. Alright, so I'm heading into the Fannics at the minute. The Fannics are a group of 9 Munros. It takes my total of remaining Munros down by between a third and half if I can do the 9 today. I was pretty tired, but the winds were really high and it was a really cold day, and it was just a complete slog to get over the Western 5 Fannics. It's been a pretty tough one in the legs. Legs are pretty toasted after yesterday. And I did do that, I did succeed in getting over the Western 5, but it would have been good to go and finish the entire range. But the combination of the weather forecast and also I was still pretty tired meant, yeah, that just didn't happen. But in any case, it was a good day, and it was a strange pivotal point because it's where all the social restrictions with coronavirus started. So today was a good weather forecast, and it's just really cold. It's really leaden. It's kind of leaden, a bit like my mood as well. Mood's pretty down. And you can't. I mean, all the virus stuff is totally it. You know, if none of that was happening right now, I would just be enjoying the last few days, and it's like totally kind of not like that at all now. I did really deeply enjoy the last couple of days. In fact, that's because I got away from all of that, the real world. But I've only got like 5 days left. After this, 4 days here. 4 days. I can do 4 days. I was looking at potentially not being able to finish the Munro round with a couple of days to spare. How cool would that be to get to the end of the whole thing and then just be stopped right at the last minute? It would be unprecedented, and you could never foresee it. It would be just a horrible thing to happen. So I was really keen to make as much headway as I could. Following the Fannics day, I made a trip into Fisherfield. Well, I'm definitely hurting this morning, but this is like, it's good to be able to see where I'm going and the hills that I've got coming up. Feels like this is the push. Doesn't matter that I feel tired, it's like Ben Lomond, go, 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 go. The weather forecast was similar, but in the actual case, luckily the weather itself was better and it was much more settled, and we had some good summit views as well. I headed in the morning, and one of the things with Fisherfield is it's got a massive reputation for being the most remote area of Munros, and it definitely is, there's no doubt about it. Obviously I'm heading up a Viagen onto the summit. Most remote Munro in the country. That thing right there. But the thing with them is that they're also a relatively compact mountain area of 5 that all sit really close together in the wilderness, but to get there you're in good tracks. So I followed really good tracks in at a total stomp, really good pace. And then I was up onto the mountains, and once you get into the mountains you've maybe only got 10 or 12 kilometres of actual hard mountain ground. And so if you can get in the morning in good time and just treat that as its own section, I had a great day. Well, there used to be a Munro here, but it's too low, so good to notice. And the Viagen has got a enormous, extraordinary westward view off its summit because it drops so steeply into this incredible kind of geology, all contorted gneiss and sandstone, and yep, it's just very, very dramatic, dropping straight off the summit. So you had this huge view, and it was actually felt like a bit of a climax to the winter because I knew it was only a few days out of finishing, and I was suddenly on this iconic mountain in really good weather in winter right at the end of my round, and I did know and I was aware that that was a really special moment. Okay, I'm here in the Ruistig Moor in Fisherfield. Final Fisherfield summit of 5. So it's been a great day. Really special, deeply special, and also just thinking back over everything that's happened and leading up to finishing the round. I suppose it really caught me there. I was like, wow, this is, you know, you've kind of pretty much cracked it. Amazing. I'm trying not to rip the bags. They seem to last relatively well. So it's like placing the feet actually very carefully. And then I headed down to Shenneval, Bothy. Oh, it was just great. I mean, the wind got up during the night, but it was just dry. It was a calm night, settled night. It'd obviously been a brilliant day in the Glens with sort of spring arriving. And the following day the winds had seriously got up, and I headed up to Inchellach, and there was a very intense sense of this has got to happen now. I've got to do this now and get these hills done as soon as possible. But the winds were pretty extraordinary, or the forecast was pretty extraordinary. And stepping out of Shenneval in the morning, it was certainly windy, but I can, after 3 months of doing this, I can really step out into the sort of morning air and just almost sniff the sort of conditions. You can really feel how it will feel up top just from standing and sensing. As soon as I stepped out, in spite of the forecast, I did have a feeling like, yeah, this could actually happen. I feel like it will go, as long as it doesn't get utterly ridiculous up top. But it was fine. I headed straight up Inchellach from Shenneval, which is a pretty long and steep way to the summit. Got to the summit of the first Munro. And then I stepped over the top and the wind just died because, yeah, it's getting thrust up and accelerated up one side of Inchellach, and what happens is it just goes straight over the top of you when you're standing on the other side and misses you completely. So I had this incredible luck that on massive winds I got to the top of Inchellach, the first Munro of 2, and it was really, really calm down the far side. So I headed on quite happily to the second Munro and got the 2 of them absolutely fine. It turned into a really good day actually, but I was keen to get going as well. Again, I didn't want anything to stop me from finishing this, and I just wanted to get back and have some rest time and some analysis and thinking for the upcoming days. After this I've got 10 left, handful of days, and it just feels like a battle against time with coronavirus and the country shutting down. I'm totally isolated, I'm totally myself, and I've been in the northwest for like a month now. And then from there I headed the following day to the rest of the Fannics, so a group of 4, and I knew I had about 25 kilometres to go, and it really was a case of head down and just don't think about the weather too much and just get the summits done. Really, it really was a disgusting, manky, soaking wet day. It's the only bit of the mountain that you can like stop and think. So the van is about 30 minutes, 40 minutes down this north slope, so I'll just get blown by the wind down to the van, and that's me done. Steve says he went out of the house and he's kind of got cause for a bit of optimism regarding my situation, so hopefully nothing stops me getting these mountains done. Finished the Fannics and it really left the 5 Munros at Inverleil. And the 5 Munros at Inverleil are topped by a mountain called Shinavrai. Shinavrai is another of these obscure but stunning Highland peaks, and I'd set myself up to finish my 4th Munro round on it, which is not quite the same as the winter round. And Once again, a much calmer day that day, but I headed up to Ben Jerick in the cluster around about Ben Jerick. That felt like a long way in, but it was probably inevitable. Good. Glad to be here. And yeah, simply once I got in there, just knocked off 1, 2, 3 and then 4 and then headed out for the long miles out to Chenevrai. Which is really in the middle of nowhere and very much out there, faces north. It's got this huge corrie that just looks out onto the sort of open rolling flats of Sutherland. So it's really very much a last wave of mountain before it all drops into just hundreds of square miles of peat bog and moor. So good to get there. This is the top of Chenevrai. This is also the last Munro, my 4th Munro round. And it was meant to be the penultimate mountain of my winter, but it could be the final mountain of my winter. Good to be on Chenevrai and finish my 4th round, and it also put me on 281 and it was just 1 to go. And I had a debate at this point whether I should do that last one. In light of all this this virus causing society essentially to shut down, I kind of became resigned to the fact that Chenevrai would be the last mountain of the round. Yeah, I think that spells the end, because I mean the tension's just been building for a long time, and going out to Chenevrai there, yeah, the tension just snapped like a stick. The realisation, it's time to go home and it's time to be done. It's primarily a social thing. You know, I've been in this self-isolated bubble for 3 months, just doing the same thing every day, and the sort of the fabric of social acceptability is just ground and then slipped and slid away from underneath me, and then it's just left me with no option. With everything climbed in the northwest finally, I headed back to Glasgow, headed back down the A9 and decided to think on it in the morning. And the following day I decided, yes, I am going to go up Ben Lomond, go and finish that last mountain. Yeah, it's quite strange actually, it's quite weird. So here I am under the summit of Ben Lomond, just right here. This is my 282nd summit of 282, so here we go, end of the winter Munros. We've had a thaw for a couple of days, so it's actually quite summer-like. But yeah, this is good. Really glad I came. I think I'll be glad I came in the end.
Take one to go.
myself and Mike on top of the infant. What a buzz!